Hey there, Rodney Walker here, and on this edition of Ask Rodney, I'm going to be answering a question that came in from Corey. Corey, how's it going, buddy? Corey is new to grant writing. He wrote this. He said that he was interested in learning. He says, I want to learn everything I can about grants. And he's looking to do this because he's wanting to help some people along on their journey. And then he also wrote me and made mention that he said that I would also love to start a business doing grant writing as a consultant or maybe just both. And then finally he asked the question, and this question is, hey, I'm thinking about first just learning this, how to do it, and then possibly get certified. How would you go about doing this? Corey, thanks for that question. I really appreciate it. And I want to address your question and I want to speak directly to it. Let's grab a seat for a second and let's talk about this theme because you've asked an important question and I want to share with you a few ways that you can go about doing this. I want to share with you how I've seen a number of students do it. I also want to share with you how I've personally done it. And then I'm going to also share with you what I consider kind of like the best way to go about doing it. So with that said, Corey, here's the first thing. When I first started out, I actually started out by taking classes. Well, let me back up. The very first time I started out, I was trying to get somebody to show me and couldn't really get anybody to show me. And so I just dove into the process. And that was kind of a mistake because in the process of that, I wrote my first proposal, didn't know what I was doing, scrapping, pulling information from the internet, and then landed flat on my face. Didn't get funded. The funder told me, hey, you have all these mistakes in your proposal. If you like to, I'd be happy to discuss this with you. I took her up on that offer when I met with her, and she showed me all those problems that I had with my proposal. And let's just put it this way: there were a lot of problems with that proposal. Never got funding from her, but that lesson that I got from her was very, very important. The second time, I decided to take some classes at a college, and so one way that I've seen a lot of people learn this skill, they've taken some classes, some at the community colleges. Some have taken some classes online. I've seen them do a lot of things. Some have taken it through working with somebody at their job and learning it from them at their job. Again, a lot of different ways to go about doing the same thing. Some have done a variation of all of those that I just kind of made mention to you. Some have done it by reading a book and have found that reading a book, going step by step, that worked for them. It really kind of all depends on how do you learn best. What's most effective for you? I've taken classes when I also did it online when I was working on my graduate degree. I took classes online in grant writing and a lot of it was reading and we had exercises. And so that worked for me that way. Okay, so again, a lot of different ways. Now, you may mention about certification and I want to speak to that for a second because certifications in this space is something that sometimes is often debated. I have certificate programs. I've had other people participate in certificate programs. And just from my experience, you've got to ask yourself, what is the bottom line goal? Sometimes the goal is to get the certification because you've got to prove to your employer that you've gone through the training or that you're proficient in that arena. And so that's where a certification can be important. But if you're talking about doing this as a business, most people doing this as business, the people that will most likely be hiring you, they're not going to be asking you, hey, do you have a certification? Okay. They're not going to ask you that question. What they want to know, can you help me get funded? That's what they want to know. They're not trying to see some paper on the wall. It's not like you're a dentist getting ready to go in to work on their teeth or a surgeon. They're not asking for that. It's no state license to write a grant proposal. So what I would say to you, my friend, is this. I would say, ask yourself, what's the bottom line goal? And if the goal is to learn the skill and to be able to do it at a high level, then I would say, great, learn it. And there's several ways that I just got to make a mention that you can learn it. Or if the certification piece is vital for you, look at going that route. Okay, so there's different ways. Now, here's the way that I found personally that has allowed people to learn at the highest level. And let me state, for the record, I want to put this out before I even say it. This is the way that I go about training people how to do this. I'm not saying you should come to us. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'm not saying that you should do that. But this is the way out of all the ways, and I've literally trained people across the world doing this. A lot in the United States, but also across the world. And the thing that I found that's worked the best is providing them with the information, but more importantly, walking them through step by step by step by step. Okay, now mind you, each week, walking them bit by bit by bit by bit. Okay, what happens when you do that, it's almost like an apprenticeship program where you're allowing them to go through the process with you. And when you do that, it begins to remove all the guessing, because here's a real reality. You're gonna have questions. Now, the beautiful thing is there are a lot of answers on the internet, but you gotta scour through all of it to find the answer. So when you have either a mentor or somebody at your place that you work that's guiding you step by step by step, it makes that process a lot smoother, especially if they've been trained and they really, really know what they're doing. So it becomes good in that way. If you don't have that, then my suggestion is either find a mentor, somebody that will train you, or sign up for a training that will guide you step by step by step through the process. The bottom line is so that you don't get discouraged in the process of it, and that you feel confident knowing what you're doing. I hope that helps some, and I hope that gives a little clarity about how you can go about doing it. The best way to learn almost anything is not by, if we're using an analogy of swimming, you don't learn how to swim by being outside the water. You learn how to swim by being in the water. You can get all the instructions that you want in the book knowledge, but until you get in that water and start stroking, you really won't know what you're doing. I wish you the best. Any other way I can help you, let me know. And I'm cheering for you. Go get funded. Go learn a skill. Be brave. Be bold. Be brilliant. Thanks again for the question. If you have a question, my friend, list it down. Send it to me. You never know. I may answer your question next time. All the best.